And we are live. Welcome back to the most recent installment of the Mecca of Banter. I am your host this week, Young Yid on Twitter, Young Hoove in real life. Just thriving and surviving, lads. Just doing what we can to get by. It is 5:37 at the time of this recording. It is pitch dark outside. Supplement that vitamin D, especially if your football teams are bad. I cannot stress that enough. You will not get reprieve on weekends. Vitamin D, vitamin D, vitamin D. I'm saying pump that through the system. Andy Hoover here hosting, introducing the lads this week. We've got Winks, my North London friend. How are we doing?
What's up, fellas? I'm getting a little bored over here. It's kind of boring when your team isn't giving up any goals and you're just winning all the
Or
time.
we just play the way you guys play, you know?
I'll agree with you, it
When
is
you
boring.
play against low blocks, there's not much else you can do.
Or play
But
the low block.
huh?
What?
All right. Good to see you too, Nick. No, I'm stoked. St. Louis City's making moves. Arsenal's doing great. I don't know. I don't have any complaints over here. It was a good weekend, good week last week. So ready to talk some footy though. There was a lot of good games that happened since we last talked.
There were a lot of good games. It is pretty smooth sailing for you at the moment. I don't think there's a whole lot denying that. Would love to be in that position. I know Nikki would too. How are we doing, young Nick Haflinger?
You know, we are doing fantastic, Mr. Hoover. Got to give you big props for hosting and being on this week.
The audacity of you even asking me if I wanted to,
I know.
frankly.
I thought you would laugh and be like, absolutely not. You can take this one. But hey, by all means. Once again, we were reminded this weekend that London is in fact blue. So pumped to be here with all of you guys and chat about it. There was a lot of spicy footy this weekend. And as Winks already alluded to, we get to talk a little bit about St. Louis City and not how shit we are on the field. So that's always a good thing. Pumped to be here with you boys and pumped for another episode.
Yeah, let's just roll straight into that. So, St. Louis City announced this morning, I think the information was leaked on Friday, that we have a sporting director, lads. We are no longer a directionless, empty club. We have a sporting director, brought in Wray. Notable experience with Columbus Crew. He was in charge of their MLS Next Pro team. He was a MLS Next Pro Executive of the Year. He did, from what I understand, pretty good work at Montreal, and the budget that he had to work with over in Canada, a couple Canadian titles. He was also in a technical role with Toronto FC. Um, from what we know, which I would say is less than the rest of the St. Louis City-based pods, what do you guys think? Like, first
He
reactions, first thoughts. Go for it.
seeing the picture of him and seeing some of his, resume as a coach for these teams with smaller budgets, he reminds me a lot of, and even looks a little like it. He's just giving off that vibe of a Moneyball's Peter Brand. If
Yeah,
that makes sense. I
100%.
I'm hoping that he's gonna come here and be able to do a lot with a little. Um, Knowing who we have going out this season and who we're keeping occupying, specific international spots on the roster. I'm hoping that he's bringing that specific piece of knowledge that he's gained to come to St. Louis and do a lot with a little. So
Yeah, I don't know if you guys got the same notifications on Spot Mob. You follow St. Louis City, and we dropped all of those guys, and I got the
they just
same
slid it in there.
notification blast. Yep, of who was leaving, Rasmus Alm, et cetera, et cetera. First thoughts on Wray on my end. I think we've learned that you gotta know a little bit about MLS specifically for it to really click. And I think Lutz was playing Football Manager, which I was again wholeheartedly in support of. Zero issue with
Probably
that.
what we would have done.
That's exactly what I would have done. That's what I do when I set up a career mode in FIFA St. Louis City. So I've learned a little bit about it in that capacity, and you've got to know roster rules. You've got to know how you can skis them. You got to know players that aren't well known that can't break into certain teams that they're on. And I think that this is a positive hire for a young guy. And more so, I'm just happy we got somebody. Let's just pick it up from here and move.
I'm willing, or if I'm a betting man, I have a feeling that he had some conversations with Berkey. Like, I almost think that the deal could have, like, I have faith in this guy because I think Berkey and him had a conversation, and that's why Berkey extended, is what I'm getting at. Like, I think whatever was pitched to Berkey by this man, obviously we know that it was announced today and Berkey's extension was like a couple weeks ago, but I guarantee you that behind the scenes there was probably some conversations being had. Because like I said last week, we have to be blackmailing Berkey for him to stay. So the fact that he was probably sold on this guy, this project, obviously agree with everything that you guys say, but I do think, or I'm willing to bet, that Berkey probably knew that this was going to happen, and the fact that he wanted to stay and play for him makes me a little bit happy.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't argue that. Dude, in my humble opinion, he should probably be on the board to hire a sporting director. Like he's that important to us,
Yeah.
obviously. So you would hope, and really, I think downplaying some of it, the general concern right now is this Diego Cat's involvement and what he can and can't do and what his actual role is. It sounds like they're going to work congruently. It sounds like they're going to be side by side and make sporting, Corey Ray is going to be lead on sporting decisions, but Diego, dude, is ever present at the moment, and I'm not sure that the fan base as a whole is excited about that. Which why should they be? He's a business guy, and business guys should stay business guys. But you want to get me started on business guys running your sporting position? I know a thing or two. He's bald and he just
Been
got
there,
sacked.
done that.
Yeah, a whole lot of experience with that. So it will be nice to hopefully see them work together. And yeah, I'm excited about it. I think as excited as anyone can be in just a general sporting hire. And
I think
go
you
ahead.
hit it. I think you hit it on the head though. Like earlier when you said that, you're just glad we got somebody in there because the MLS starts in February. We're now in November, and I know that these next 4 months are going to 3 months, 3.5 are going to absolutely fly by. So couldn't agree more that just getting somebody in there to make some sense of what's going on is massive. And the fact that he, has some good experience in this league under his belt, I almost wonder too sometimes the transitions from, front office staff or coaches from leagues outside of the MLS. I feel like there's sometimes a struggle where coaches and other, specific staff will try and bring in techniques from outside leagues that just do not work with the way the MLS works, without a relegation system, without, sort of teams, working out a certain way, only allowing so many players from outside the country. I think that you almost need someone that's experienced in this league to really drive the sort of change we as fans are looking for in the club. So I'm more optimistic than I think a lot of people might be about this.
Yeah, and our goal next year should be playoffs. At the very least, dude, get me a competitive enough team that we go out in this stupid little best of 3 round of 16, whatever we're doing currently in the playoffs. It changes every other year, I feel like. But give me a team that can compete, win a couple of games. I'm not, at this point, we're not asking for a ton. So, yeah, I think positive. We've got a direction. Hopefully we can get a manager soon. We can get some roster clarification. I would say this is a step in the right direction, and we're just hopeful. And not to mention, too, the off season for MLS is criminally short. Criminally short. Not that I really am going to throw a big fit about that, but these poor players, dude. Sometimes I really do feel that way, especially these cats that are making like $40,000 a year that are just holding on to a roster spot. But I digress. We'll quickly glance through some EFL Cup situations. Arsenal rolled over Brighton 2-0. I watched a little bit of that, the beginning of that game. Brighton could have a couple.
Yeah, I mentioned it last week, but I was hoping that we were going to start, our entire B team in this game, and that's exactly what we did. So I think some of us talked about it in the bigger Mecca group chat prior to, but really happy to see, Kepa get some minutes and a shutout at that. Get, just some other guys, our two backup center backs getting to play together. Was great, but the highlight for me was the Hale End link up with Miles Lewis Skelly and Wanyeri on the first goal. I think I said it in the last pod too. Like if Brighton were to win, then it is what it is. I just knowing the amount of game, I wouldn't have cared as much if we had played our full B team, because I just know that our main guys needed a little bit of rest. With how many games we've been playing lately, in addition to the international break and things like that. So, not much to say. We went in there and got business done with a less than full strength team.
Looking at this lineup, I don't know literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players, and I was like, holy cow, that's kind of crazy. I did want to ask you though, how did Dauman play? I didn't watch a lick of this game, but we talked about on this pod the talent that he is.
He was great. Nothing outrageous. I think that because we didn't have Odegaard and Saka in there, I don't think we played quite along the right side of the field as we're used to seeing in an Arsenal game. But
he completed the most dribbles in the match.
Yeah. And that's something you can always count on with that cat, is he is not scared of any wing backs in this league. He will try and take on anybody and not even take them on to try and get across. Like, he's going to take you, if he gets the ball in the upper right part of the field, he's going to try and take you on and cut across the box and get a shot on net.
He just loves it. He just loves taking these on for the love of the game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's one of those 15. Players that,
what's he got to lose?
He's one of those players that I feel like, we haven't seen him convert to, levels yet, but he's one of those players that reminds me of older school football, where they're, less possession focused and very robotic in a way. He's much more, champagne flowy. Football, flowy. Yeah. So
I also, the comments from Arteta, like, I think it was recently, he was like, he pretty much was saying that the dude in training is unreal and you'd be an idiot to not play him. So, like, I can only imagine what he's doing out on the pitch to some of those guys.
Yeah. Dog.
Crystal Palace beats the break off of Liverpool. They had a red card, 3-0. They drop out of their Carabao. Newcastle, in normal fashion, beat Tottenham St. James. I don't really have much for that one. I don't even think they played like that bad, but it definitely wasn't great. We're also in a position right now where we don't have enough players to actually rotate a ton. So that's actually maybe even worse news than dropping out of the cup itself. So that's super awesome. Chelsea kind of got by.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys caught that game. Boy, was that was a classic cup tourney type match. It was back and forth. We would score, they would score. Also, Gittins' goal, I don't know if you saw that, was a freaking worldy.
Yeah, we'll touch on that guy again, but yeah, that goal.
I saw the one he missed over the weekend.
A lot different on that one, but I thought it was hilarious, the timing of JP calling him trash and then him literally immediately scoring on the next touch. I thought that was just funny. But yeah, I mean, I don't have much other than the fact that it's in advance. We're moving on. It looked like we had it locked and sealed in the first half. We were up 3-0, and then they kind of came back. So that's what happens when you let them in.
That is what happens. And it was also Wolves, lads, where we are talking about comfortably the worst team in the league right now. At the weekend, though, we did have a lot of games, good ones. Arsenal kind of started everything off on Saturday morning, 2-0 to Burnley. Gyökeres and Declan Rice with goals, both of them getting substituted with potential injury.
Just Gyökeres
muscle something niggle is what I saw someone say.
I literally just read it was going to be something that I asked Winks, is that he's out for Champions League officially, and Arteta's apparently a little nervous about that game, is what he's been saying.
Sparta Prague away.
Yeah.
Those Eastern Europeans, brother, I'm telling you, it's just
Tough
different
places to
gravy out
play.
there.
I know.
And also, that's once again, that's a Fought Mob article. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I mean, regardless of if he plays in that game or not, I'm confident that we'll have, what we need to go there, and
Of your season so far, that would be a weird one to lose. Yeah.
it would be very weird. Even if
hope they
we
score like
let up
5.
a goal, I think it would be weird. But no, so I'm gonna bring this up. It might be a hot take 10 games in, but that's almost a third of the season. In the 04-05 season, Chelsea Football Club set a record for 15 goals conceded in the entire season.
Please jinx this.
I don't care either way. I think it needs to be talked about. We've allowed 3 through 10, and one of those was a Szoboszlai fucking free kick of the year already. 3 times this season, we've held teams to 0 shots on target, and it's happened a total of 5 times in the Prem this season. So we have 3 of those. I think flat out, no bullshit, we look unbeatable at the moment the way we are defending. Keyword, the way we're defending. And I don't think we're that far off from starting to talk about us, at the very least, challenging that record. This game specifically, I don't think Burnley looked flat out Burnley-esque. I think that we, just from a tactical standpoint, played absolutely textbook. Until we made the subs and got into the second half, I think we looked like a completely different team after subbing off Gyökeres and a couple other guys. But I can't continue to give enough praise to this back line of fucking rock stars, winning headers, blocking crosses, just running that defensive third of the field. But in my eyes, Declan Rice was the best player on that field by a country fucking mile. He wasn't far off from a 10 out of 10 performance for me. And I think that's because he's doing, we talk about defensive center mids or eights doing all the dirty work that nobody notices until it's missing. And he deserves all the praise for that, getting the clean sheet because he was involved so defensively, getting the goal, leading the game in tackles and duels, and just absolutely bossing the midfield. That dude does not stop running.
I think he needs a lot more credit. Obviously your defense record and your back line is nice, but I think the reason why you guys have kept so many clean sheets is because Declan Rice is the holding midfielder, and it allows your defenders to kind of have that safety net of like, oh, I know someone's going to be there. So
it allows them to play so much more confidently,
Correct.
knowing that they're not on an island, just the 4 of them. And even Zubimendi tracking back, he is such a dog, and I think that he's working his way up to being one of the best Arsenal signings in decades for this club. But to touch on Gyökeres, since he scored the other one, aside from his goal, I think that his movement in this game and hold-up play was actually really great. I think it's a piece of being a striker that doesn't get talked about enough. I think we used to always talk about it a lot with Harry Kane and how phenomenal he was at that. I think we're starting to see glimpses of Gyökeres, figuring out how to do that well against Premier League center backs, dragging defenders to occupy space in order to create it for others, which is why I don't think we were the same team when he went off. I think that for him as a player, there's for sure room for improvement in a lot of ways. He hasn't scored nearly as many goals as we were expecting, but with 4 goals in 10 Premier League games so far, that's great. I think that that'll continue to come, and despite playing low blocks every week, it feels like we're still finding ways to find him, and that's via set pieces at the moment. And until teams start to play us a little more spread out, where we can exploit those passing lanes and through balls a little better, I think that it's going to continue to have to be that way. But
I think Dobe said it once. Hoover. I feel like every Big Six club faces a low block when it comes to a lot
100%.
of teams, though. So it's a problem that everyone has to have. But I agree with you. I also I could be wrong, and this is hard for me to even say, but like I think I'm taking Kai over Gilchrist right now if he's healthy. I don't know what your thoughts on that. Is that even a question in your guys' mind? He hasn't done anything crazy to impress me. His goals have been good goals, like poaching goals, but like I don't see. Yes, his hold up play is good, but I think it's inconsistent, and when it needs to be good, like in the situations to where like it can lead to a goal, he messes up a lot of those times.
Yeah.
And I wanted to pick your brain on like, are you guys fully set on him being the guy, or is there still like a competition there where you think Kai can maybe come back and fight for that spot?
I think he's the guy,
Okay,
but Kai is also hurt until the end of November.
true.
So I think in my eyes, what's going to happen is when Kai comes back, they'll start sprinkling him in up top and or Marino. We'll see what happens with that. But I think that once Kai comes back, that's going to light a little fire. We talk a lot about when big players come and they don't have anybody challenging them for their spot. It can sometimes get a little bit of a situation where you're just going through the motions. So I think that it's going to be one of those scenarios. I hope it doesn't come to that, and I hope this month he just turns it on to another level that we saw him, all of last year in the Champions League specifically. But Odegaard should be back in the middle of the month. Kai back at the end. I think by the end of the year we should have a lot of the rest of our injured players, Gabriel Jesus, etc., back. So it'll be interesting to see what Arteta chooses to do with that. But
Yeah, Nicky, I think my only counterpoint on that is that while he is scoring those scruffy strikers, poachers finishes, it's not really what Kai's been known for in the past either. Like, and I'm not discrediting him on that, but like, he's always good for a back post header or something. But
exactly.
you just got to be in the right place at the right time, and then you got to finish. And I think sometimes he didn't find himself doing either with them. Like lot of open XG that they left on the table last year from maybe not having an out and out striker.
And
But
I talked about that last episode too, how in the as far as the difference of our XGs compared to last year, how we're ahead of our current XG across all competitions this year, and last year we were like way below that.
yeah,
So it'll be interesting. I think looking ahead though, for me in
Just
the
remember
position we're
I
at,
brought it up a couple times. I'm just saying.
yeah. No, I'm excited. I'm excited for Kai to come back and to see him get into this team the way that we're playing right now. But consistency is going to be the big word for me moving forward. We're winning, but more importantly, we're winning the matches that we're expected to win. And if we do what we did today, bring a little more energy into the second half when subs come on, I think we're going to be just fine the way that we're looking.
Been in this spot before, is all I'm gonna say.
I feel like this is different, man. I say it every year.
You said that last
It's different this year. Yeah. No, we do look like a different team though.
We'll see.
you buy 12 defensive players and a striker. You would hope
We
that
better
it
have
might be
the defense that
different.
we have.
Yeah, exactly. Anything else on that one?
I think that hits it.
I don't
Burnley
like
is
Arsenal.
Burnley. We move.
Burnley. Yeah, exactly. Nottingham Forest and United played. We do not have United representation today, but I did want to throw it out there. And even I think in the words of Dobbs, he said wanted the win, probably deserved the draw. I watched it. I thought it was good. The Gibbs White goal was unreal. It was a hell of a header.
Yeah. I love the energy that Forrest showed in the second half too. Like I feel like they've been lacking that of late.
And Dope said this too, dude, but I would run through a wall for Sean Dyche.
Yeah.
I would absolutely leave it on the table for that guy. So
I think he would fit well in the Mecca. Like this is no bullshit. Like if the Mecca of Banter's Sunday League had to pick a coach that would probably suit us best, it would probably be Sean Dyche. Just
it probably would. Dude.
By the way, Dobes plays, yes, we're very much balls.
We're not playing pet ball. We're not playing Thomas Frank. We're not Enzo Maresca, but Sean Dyche ball, brother. We are in on that. Second balls, heavy hits. That's just kind of what we do.
That's so funny.
my only thing as a Spurs fan on this one was that I am so glad I'm not playing in the haircut final, because if they would have won this, the next game was against Spurs this coming weekend, and it would have been the potential for them to go 5 in a row, and for one lad in Manchester to cut his hair, and it is still so long. I'm just
Did
glad that that pressure's off me
did
and
did you guys
Spurs.
watch his video like later that day? He
No,
felt he felt very good. He was like, you know, crappy that it happened, but he's like looking at our next 2 months. He expects him to be able to cut his hair by I think it was December 8th. He's like
Best of luck, brother. Have fun on that
he's like
parlay.
looking at our run of games right now. I can't remember what their run of games are that he rattled off, but he seemed very confident that by December 8th he'll have a
Hot
buzz.
take, they never do it.
dude.
God, I
I
hope. I mean,
mean,
five wins in a row
That's what I'm saying.
is
It's not
tough.
easy.
That was
I-
kind of a ballsy move by him.
it says a little bit less about United than it does about what he's asking them to
Yeah,
do.
exactly.
I think that's, but at the same time,
Most
this
most United fans I know would have probably made the same bet though,
probably
because
so.
they're
Yeah,
a little out there
they feel
sometimes.
themselves, that's for sure. The kid's made himself a little bit of money off of this whole little situation. He was on the patty pack, I saw on Twitter. He's noted. Everyone knows about him and his situation. So at the very least, good for him. Hope he's collecting on that. Um, they United plays Spurs next weekend. We can glance on that later. But what I think everyone thought was the game of the weekend, that I would argue, Nikki, you would probably agree, did not really live up to the excitement and hype
As
that
he does
you would
this.
think. I mean, look, 3 points is 3
I'm doing
points.
that for 3 points, brother.
3 points is 3 points. But, brother, when I tell you that this was the biggest waste of 2 hours that I've ever spent on a Saturday, I could not be more serious about it. I was going to sit down and watch all 2 hours of it.
You
But, dude,
you want me to be
miserable football.
I agree with that, but I also like similarly what Winks was kind of saying before. I feel like football of late has been so possession based, robotic. This was like a slop fest. Like
It was a slop fest.
I almost like kind of enjoyed it a little bit. Obviously, from like the football perspective, like you don't love it. You don't like your team going out there and performing like that. But from an entertainment perspective, I thought it was pretty entertaining as far as the passion goes, the back and forth, the sloppiness, because we didn't see a lot of great technical football, but I definitely, obviously there's stuff sprinkled in there, but like I thought this was two Sean Dyche almost S teams going at it, as we were saying before, where it was just a lot of bad blood.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't argue that. They get up for it. No matter the score, no matter where you're at in the table, these two teams will get up for this game. Chelsea and Spurs are gonna. There's gonna be bad blood at all times. These guys, a lot of them know each other from youth football. It's like these. It's so you feel the charge in the game every single time they play each other.
With this one, honestly, before the game, it was funny. I was thinking, I have a couple of bets out there with people right now about this year, and one of them that I have is João Pedro is going to score 20 goals this year. And literally before this game, I was like, this dude needs to fucking get on the score sheet. I need him to start scoring some goals. So the fact that he got on the score sheet in this game made me very, very happy. Obviously, it shouldn't be shadowed by Caicedo's fucking hard work pressing the shit out of your guys' team for the entire 90 minutes. I thought he played out of his mind. People are like saying what a great performance. This dude's done this consistently for the past like month and a half, in my opinion. So it was no surprise to me. The other big shout out that I had was I think Cucurella added another person to his pocket list with Kudus. I think Kudus is a great player, and I thought Mark Cucurella had him in his pocket for majority of the game. There's obviously some times where Kudus showed his strength and pushed Mark around a little bit, but I thought for the most part, Cucurella had him in his pocket, and I was super pumped. And I also, as someone who hasn't seen a clean sheet in a while, I'll take a clean sheet when I see a clean sheet. So
Yeah, I'll give you Cucurella. I hate that dude so much; it's unbelievable. He played really well, and
I don't blame you at all.
he's been consistent too the last few games. I think he's a solid defender and he's smart. Whether or not he's a rat shithouser, up for debate. But not a fan. And look, I'm not even gonna sit just because the game sucked. You guys deserve to win. Like there was nothing going for Spurs in the slightest. Vicario had a ton of saves. A lot of them were high XG, but not super dangerous. Like your XG is like 3.68, but outside of the Gittins miss, there weren't really too many that I was like, oh man, we skeezed by on another one. Like you were threatening considerably more than Spurs, who had shocker, zero point 0.1 XG, 3 total shots, 1 shot on target, 0 big chances. It was deserved, and I think that's I said this to Winks yesterday, but we've only beaten Chelsea like 3 times in the last 27 games. So in the very first place, you kind of know that that's a little bit accepted. We just every single game we play against Chelsea feels like some sort of witchcraft. Like going back to the Matters and Mickey injury game and Romero red card and Domi red card, and really still kind of leaving it all out there. This game starts out with Bergvall getting hit in the face within 5 minutes. He
Okay, can
goes
we talk
out.
about for that a little bit? He
Yeah,
looked dazed.
dude.
He almost looked like he was gonna fall over. I was like,
Did
you got to get this guy off the pitch.
I was texting Henry and Dobes when he was getting his concussion protocol.
No, he was going.
Follow. He was going side to side ahead. He could not follow that finger, and I understand. He's 18. He's gonna want to stay.
Showing no shot.
Yeah, dude. No. And I'm at some point you've just got to credit the staff on that. He's the type of guy that would have stayed in this game
I think we all
5
would.
years ago.
All of us in that situation would have said,
For
"Fuck
sure.
you, I'm trying to
He
play."
did not look good, and now he's out for this next game with a concussion. So it's shocker. We were all pretty well aware of that. So, that happens in 5 minutes, and then we get the Bentancur possible red in 35 minutes. So in my mind, I saw Bergvall go down. I was like, I sent the whole group a chat of the guy with PTSD, Chelsea early injury. Oh shit, dude. And then Bentancur gets what I think for sure could have been a red. I'm not gonna sit here and say it was nailed on, but I did say in the group if it's an inch higher on his ankle, for sure red.
I'm
No
telling
question.
you, the only thing that bugs me is the elbow and the shoulder afterwards. It's the only thing that gets me. The cleat, that'll happen. And yes, it got high up on his ankle, but he literally leads with his shoulder and throws a bow at the same time late on it, and I didn't like that at all.
I haven't picked that one up as much, but sure, yeah. But in the same side of the coin, though, it's if his is a red, I think Enzo's is a red, and I don't think it was nearly as I don't think it was as forceful. Enzo got a yellow in 68 with the high studs.
Yeah,
and it's to me in the same thing. It's the red could have happened, but then Enzo again not as forceful, but a lot higher up and with studs. Right. I think that could have been a red too. I'm glad that they were both yellows. If one was the other way around, I would have been fuming, or you would have been fuming. I think we both would have kind of agreed with how it went. But yeah, man, Spurs perspective, dude, it was just it was so mind-numbingly slow and bad. And you guys clearly looked like you wanted to win more. The last 5 minutes, there's clips going around on Twitter of what was happening behind the ball for Spurs to get the ball in, right? So foul just outside of our half on the circle, and whole team gets as far as Chelsea's back line will let them towards the box. We're just going to pump it in. We've got 5 minutes left. Just get the ball in the box. Great, whatever. Whistle goes. Vicario passes it short to Jed Spence. And then someone closes Jed Spence down. And he's like, what am I supposed to do with this? He didn't have an opportunity to whip it in, nor did he know that he was going to even get the ball because everyone's at the top of the box. He passes it back to Vicario, and Vicario just pumps it straight to Sanchez. It was those types of plays, and you could hear the stadium was losing their minds. The fans were all over Spurs and just everything they did. And the players have come out well, I wish we could get some more encouragement. Do something to show that you deserve some encouragement, because right now it's all bad. Thomas Frank, I think, deserves some blame. We're playing slow, pragmatic football that is just not what anyone wants. Yes, I understand we had Ange, and look where that got us. It got us a trophy in 17th. So we're seeing a guy now whose main objective is to not finish 17th, maybe sort of push for a trophy, but like we're just back to the same old regularly scheduled Spurs programming. Like, just get by, do your best against the teams you should beat. Try not to get beat by the Chelseas and the big sixes of the world, other than City and United, apparently. And like, I just don't get the mentality. I don't get if the directions are bad or we're not. It's just so many different things. It's mind numbing. It's mind numbing. And it's not new. This isn't new. Like, the best game we probably had all year was against Everton, but two of those goals were set pieces, and then the third was in like the 88th minute when they were pressing everybody up towards the end. So like, we're just not seeing it get better. Like I've said, I've wanted time. It takes time to implement. Yeah, we're done with that. Time's up. We got to just get something going. And we're not that bad. We're not giving up a ton of goals, so that's good. Get better on the other side of the ball.
I wanted to get your thoughts on obviously you've probably seen it, the reaction on Twitter from Thomas Frank, Jed Spence, and Mickey. Obviously, there's probably not much into it. I just didn't know if you had any thoughts on it at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing, but like, how can you not be pissed off
I
about
was gonna
that at
say it
the end?
almost is like I almost like take it as like a good thing of like
Yeah.
they're emotional enough to give a fuck and to care
Right.
where they're
Right.
having that reaction.
That was a little bit more my stance. Spurs fans, sometimes I think they're just whiny little prats, but
Yeah.
like it these guys care a ton, and that's so easy to see. And sometimes as a fan, like a St. Louis City fan, if we had a miserable performance, I don't actually want to see you going around and clapping the fans. You should just go.
Right.
Like, let you go, I'll go. Let's just move on and cut ties from this game and never think about it again. So like, they apparently went into Thomas Frank's office this week today and apologized, and everything's all hunky dory now in the clubhouse, or so he says. But I don't blame him. It sucks. It's not a good optic. No matter what you want with that, it's not a good optic. I think too, though, Nikki, on the same side of the coin, you guys celebrated the shit out of that game.
I know.
A little bit more than I thought was
we needed
deserved.
that one. I agree. I think the social media post afterwards, we kind of went rampant with that, like with the locations that we had, calling it a training ground. Like, obviously, I love the banter, but like,
It didn't feel right. They all like jogged to the away section, and everyone. It was like, look, man,
Hey,
you could be happy for a Derby
young
win.
team. Gotta let them.
Truthfully, that was my defense for you, was that these guys are young. Like, they've not won here much. So
I think it's funny though that last year Nikki and all of you guys were making fun of the Arsenal occasionally for celebrating some of the wins that we had, and now we're sitting here talking about this Chelsea team celebrating a lot on a 1-0 win against.
I think a lot of our shit talking was them going nuts on scoring on corners was what we were in the
not last year.
Okay.
I guess Arsenal are allowed to.
It was specifically us scoring in extra time to win the game, which happened 3, 4, 5 times last year that we over celebrated.
I think you're allowed to celebrate when the title doesn't come with you. So you guys can have that and continue to celebrate those late goals. But Chelsea's, on the other hand, it was not a late goal. It was a
the big win.
It was a big win. I'm not knocking the fact that it was a big win, but it was even when the NBC commentary is like, this is just raw. Like, this,
no, I agree with you, but obviously that's the club that I support. And I also love
it is what it is.
At the same time, but I do agree with you. It was a little much.
I'm not the fun police. Did you see Pedro Neto on the bench?
I did.
That was hilarious. Objectively,
I thought that was fucking hilarious.
That was hilarious. Dude calls one of the Spurs fans sitting right behind the bench. I think calls him a twat or something. And he looks around, smiles like a maniac, and just goes, That was funny. I had no beef with that. I would have been absolutely wound up if he did that to me. But as a Banter fan and just good vibes guy,
Here for it.
I'm here for it. But yeah, that one, dude, just never think about it ever again. Well, Liverpool are back to winning ways. They beat Villa 2-0. I don't want to say like rather comfortably, but when you just get handed a goal to Mo Salah from Emi Martinez the way that he did,
Mo Salah goal. If you ask the man, he dominated the game.
I'm not even gonna front. He got this ball and it was, he only had one option. It was a one-time finish on the right side, and it was a good finish.
And then
it was a good finish.
The keeper steps on the pass and not the shot, and I'm like, oh, what are you doing?
It was, that was shambolic from Emi Martinez, who's I generally think is a pretty good keeper, but
agreed.
They needed that one. They needed that one. Shout out to our man Flan. He needed that one. I'm so impartial on Liverpool that none of it means a ton to me, but I love my friends. I like when my friends succeed. And then Man City, dude,
bro, I'm
gonna say it.
Please say it, because I've been saying it for too long, and you guys make fun of me for way too long.
Erling Holland is the best finisher of all time.
Thank you, fucking Christ, he's unbelievable. He's an alien.
He's the best finisher of all time. And while I think sometimes it is boring to watch, there's no denying it. There's no denying it. I'm a partial Harry Kane fan. Is Harry Kane a better footballer as a whole?
There might be a conversation.
Yeah, probably. I think we're watching him, be spotlight in Bayern right now.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
People are changing their perception because he's been doing it.
It's funny, in this game, Holland played like an outside of the foot with his left foot that he hit a little bit too far, and the goalie went and got it. And I immediately in my head went, yeah, Harry Kane is putting out his fucking toe.
I don't mean to make this about Harry Kane either, but that was, just one-on-one clinician.
I also, as a defender and a center back, both of the goals were horrendous defending on a man that you should have two people on at all times. I'm not kidding. If I'm playing Erling Holland, you are putting a center back on him at all times, and I would man mark him the entire game. And whenever that guy needs help,
he's faster than all of them besides Mickey, though. What do you do? That dude's bigger than most center backs. Yes, but then he turns you, and you're not catching him.
I agree.
Unless you're Mickey Van de Ven.
Impossible to defend, but they did a horrendous job. He had two breakaways that were just so obvious and easy for him.
Let's set our back line. If I'm Bournemouth, my back line doesn't start 4 yards into the other half.
Yeah,
the first one was just dude,
it was awful.
Where was they were in the other half. You have to know that this is coming. Cherky's first thought every time.
Watched. Yeah.
That was, delusional from Areola, delusional from the Bournemouth back line. You're just not going to beat City like that. And, Ange did, but it was different. And they had Mickey. I don't know why that any of that makes sense. But he's just dude, he's one-on-one with the keeper. No one's going to catch him, and he's going to finish it. Yep. Someone had to dig up. I saw someone tweeted, has this guy ever actually missed in a one-on-one situation? And someone dug up when he was 18 at Dortmund. There's just not a lot of references. It was during COVID, and there's not a lot of references of him not backing those goals.
I think he is literally carrying that Man City team to where they're at right now.
Yeah.
I think for years it's been City's defense and possession that's kind of won them a lot, but I think right now Erling Holland is backpacking Man City, and their defense, if they figure it out in the time, they're going to be, I think, scary. But right now, I think Holland is just carrying the shit.
Dude, I think I saw the stat. He has 15 goals, all competitions. Their next highest scorer was the Burnley center back who had 2 own goals in one game against them.
Yeah.
And then everyone else has one. Turkey and Reinders, and it's he is carrying is an understatement,
Yeah,
dude. He is literally backing them. Like, and
he has 13 goals, and the next closest is 6.
yeah, wrap it up. Give him the boot already. It's fine. No one's
Like,
worried about it.
like if I made my 20 goal bets with him, I'd literally almost be there 10 games in.
I would actually respectfully ask you give me a 40 goal season because that is just not. He's on track to do that.
He's gross.
Sorry, Jacob Krupp. I will put my hands up. I will say it. Sometimes boring,
I also
but just
and
the best finisher, dude.
not to get in the weeds here on and getting into the footy behind it all, but like I truly think this is something like kind of similar to what Winks was saying, as strikers are on teams that are so good at possessing the ball, a striker can get lost because everyone plays a low block against you. It's hard to break them down. There's a lot of people in the middle of the box. And I think right now, City is not that anymore. Like, yes, they still have good possession, but they're not what they used to be when it comes to possessing the ball. And I think Holland's getting a lot more counterattacking chances. And we're seeing him, like, when he's at full stride taking people on or like having
So
someone
fast.
on the side of him, there's literally nothing you can do. He is so fast, he is so big, he is so powerful. But if you put him in the middle of the box and just hope that he gets on one of those crosses, it's a lot different. So I think we're seeing a product of City's new playing style and Holland drastically benefiting from it and scoring goals.
I would not do that. No, he's going to get on those corners and such too, but I would take him one-on-one any day of the week over that. And dude, it was like Cherky knew that.
Yeah.
Like that ball Cherky sent was fantastic. I thought he played really well too. And just a delightful little chip over the top. He's in on no issues. We do have some Champions League upcoming this week. I can never escape this club, I swear. Arsenal against Slavia Prague at Slavia Prague, 11:45 tomorrow. Look, man, you're gonna win this game because you should. But I love these atmospheres out in Eastern Europe, dude. I'm all in on them. Is this the one with the tunnel, the like graffiti tunnel that you have to
Yeah, I
walk
think
through?
so.
That's so dope. There's gonna be so many flares. There's gonna be so much pyro. I love it, dude. Give me
It's
more
gonna be
of that.
sick.
Napoli, Frankfurt, sifting through. Liverpool, Real Madrid's probably. Ooh,
PSG Bayern, bro.
PSG Bayern's gonna rip so hard. Liverpool, Real Madrid should be interesting. We get the Trent return. Is he gonna play? Who knows? He's probably not gonna play, in my personal opinion, because he's not really been playing. But I hope he comes on just for the spectacle of that, because they're gonna absolutely tear him apart. But in the same side of the token, I think Real Madrid also tear Liverpool apart. PSG Bayern rips, dude. I think personally,
City Dortmund one too, I think.
Um, what was that?
City Dortmund's another good one.
Yeah, that's Wednesday. Dude, PSG Bayern, in my opinion, are maybe two of the best teams to watch in the world right now.
I was gonna say it could be the Champions League final.
It came from you. It didn't come from me. But I think so too. I think like some of my favorite players to watch right now are on both of these teams. Obviously, Harry Kane is the best. He's the man. You could just list the entire PSG lineup. Those guys are all absolutely electric. Rapid. I'm super curious to see how this goes. It's like it's so weird because both of these teams in their home leagues, it's like they're running rampant on teams. Like of course they are. They should be. That's how this has gone for 40 years. But when they go against each other, do we think it's going to be less scoring? They have some of the two most potent attacks in Europe, but they both also let up goals. Like
If it's anything like last week's or last round of the Champions League, we're gonna see a shit ton of goals, my friend.
Yeah, I'm taking the over in that one for sure because there's no way it doesn't rip. Tottenham has Copenhagen at home. I couldn't even tell you what this is going to look like because apparently we've got like 15 fit senior players, which is haven't even glanced on that. Not a big deal, but
All I'll say
that sucks.
is they were the only team that gave us any bit of tick in the conference league, really. So
Yeah, and our home record's like actually miserable. So that's just I'm just glad it's not like anyone way better. So Chelsea
and
go to where what?
I was gonna say, have fun pronouncing that.
Quarterback.
Thank you.
Quarterback FK. Where are they? Azerbaijan. You go to Azerbaijan on Wednesday. Dude, frankly, that sucks. Like
Yeah.
they've got a hell of a home field advantage just because you have to fly probably like 2,000
I'm
miles or whatever.
interested to see the average age of the starting lineup that we put out for that one. I have a feeling it may be one of the lower ones we ever do.
And I'm not. Am I wrong in thinking quarterbacks? They've got 2 wins and a loss. Like they're not. I don't know who they've played. I don't know anything about them, but they're not last place right now in the Champions League. So your age to their quality differential will be interesting. I think that's a good shout.
For sure.
Barcelona, Club Brugge, and then Man City, Dortmund really is going to be the big one. Do Man City just keep doing it? Do they get better? They've been so sputtery. It's not been as consistent as a Pep side. I don't know.
I think Holland bags a Hattie.
No. There you have it, folks. And I would be remiss to mention Newcastle and Bilbao. St. James is a tough place to play. Just ask any Spurs team ever. Well, that's anyone got a factor cap or something? Throw something out for me.
I had one. Oh my gosh, what was it?
We hit on a little bit of one before. If we wanted to switch back to the Arsenal,
I was going to bring that back up. Do factor cap Arsenal breaks Chelsea's 15 goals. Actually,
up again.
To make it a little more interesting, factor cap Arsenal ties or breaks. Double chance bet here.
Cap.
How many do you have right now?
3.
What is it?
We have 3 and 10.
3 and 10.
15.
15 total goals.
Yep. I don't think it's gonna happen, brother. I'm sorry,
dude.
And 38.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
So we're over a quarter of the way through, and we've let up a fifth of what the record is. So
you also
we're on pace. We've played Liverpool. We've played United.
They let in 15 goals in 2004, 2005.
It's one of the best seasons ever.
I'm willing to tell you that you guys are definitely going to get close, but I think statistically that's just so insane.
I agree.
Like just under half of the games you don't let up a goal.
Is bringing it up now because I was nervous, and the fact that he brings it up now makes me less nervous because I think he's jinxing the shit out of it.
Buddy, the world gives no fucks about what records I think.
Hey, clip this shit now.
I love that you think that
you have the power.
that I have any sort of power in this decision, being across the fucking pond here trying to talk about this. We are ahead of schedule on this record currently. As it sits, we still have guys that we're waiting to. Our captain hasn't played a lot this season. I think this is the deepest we've ever been, the healthiest we've been in a long time at this point in the season. We've played a lot of the big away games already in Anfield and Old Trafford and St. James.
You're going to hate this, Nikki, but I'm going to give him a chance.
Oh, I think there's a
double chance.
Sure. There's for sure.
I'm going to take the double chance, partially because I think we talk about it on every pod. If Saliba goes down with an injury, there's Christian Mosquera. If Gabriel goes down with an injury, there's Mbappe, who was one of the most touted young center backs on the Leverkusen team that made history. Like the quality of the backups are all so good that I don't think there's, like years past, you guys have had a significant drop off. Like you don't have Gabriel or Saliba. your center backs are your back line is just not as good.
I'm going through your guys's, and one, this record is insane.
Nick
But
also
you guys,
didn't know a lot of them. I'm not saying it's not insane, but what I'm saying is insane is 3 goals through 10.
that's just early call. Is all I'm saying. Early call for a long season.
At what point in the season, like how many games in do we stop saying it's early in the season?
I think until halfway.
Okay.
We got to be. I think the general statement is 10 games in, you can start to get an idea. I like to give me at least a fourth. Well, shit, I guess we are fourth. Yeah, third. I don't know, even more. What do we got? 38 games.
38 games.
So maybe 15 games in.
Get me into the holiday fixture period.
That's usually,
and I
holiday
think
fixtures.
I think I'm okay with that.
I want you guys to recognize what you guys are calling out, and
Yeah,
as
both
we
ways,
no, I know, but as we talk about like new signings and stuff, like we've talked about, it's mainly the United corner that's thrown this out there about Gyökeres being a fraud, and I've said like give him time, give him games, to get used to the system and get used to the way other teams play against us and things like that. So if we're giving this record until the holiday break, I hope you guys will be okay keeping that same energy when we talk about
until the holiday break. The record is the record until you break it.
Right.
At the end of the season.
I just mean until
we're gonna revisit
until you really.
It's the most Arsenal thing I've ever heard.
We're gonna revisit come January, and we're gonna talk about how far off we were.
Yep.
That is okay. I will give you that, Winks.
The takes have to be made regardless, and I don't think we're doing our listeners any favors by not calling out stuff for the sake of cursing the hell out of them.
I think it's fair. I think it's fact. I think you guys could do it, which sucks, dude. That sucks. Good on you. All right. Well, good one, lads. I think that wraps us up for this week. We have a big weekend. We have Champions League, another unnecessary international break coming up soon as well, which just is, I don't know why we've had so many. I'm so sick of it. Big games next weekend. And stay tuned. We'll make sure to hop on next week. Maybe not even the week after, because I don't even think we've got a USA camp. So we ride, we move. Oh, that's a lie. We do have a USA camp. We'll maybe tap back in. But as always, thanks for listening. Tap us in on the socials. Leave us some comments. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I'm still out here. Lads, I got 3,000 likes on a Twitter response on the Mecca account. So
who's been grinding?
That was awesome.
Have we made it?
We haven't made it because we don't have 700 followers to the point where we can monetize that tweet. That's what we need.
That's brutal.
If you don't listen to any of our other social anything, just
on
follow the account. Dude. Yeah. Just follow the Twitter account. I want Mr. Elon to send me a check when I have banger tweets. That's all I've ever actually wanted. So this is my opportunity to make it real. Well done, lads. Thanks for tapping in. Catch you all next week.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, boys.